Congratulations, Thivanka.
Hi, Hafiz. Thank you.
Are you happy?
Very happy.
Very happy, relaxed,
Yeah, it's
no
a really good
concern.
feeling.
Very,
Yeah.
very, yeah, I got your point. Yeah, so I know that the way you have been practicing, definitely I can remember the day before yesterday, the way you were
Yeah.
practicing. I thought, no, you are going to get a good score. But definitely getting IELTS band score 8.5, where you got all 8 band score and you got 9 in listening, 8.5 in reading. Definitely, it's a brilliant performance.
Thank you.
That's all right because you did the hard job and that's the reason you got the score. Now, Tibanka, I actually I'm thinking that the way you started practicing for IELTS, before that, you came to me for your PT academic preparation last year for your
Yeah.
temporary residence applications. That is, you are trying to
Yeah.
apply and took the PT coachings couple of days, but unfortunately, you didn't get dates available for your PT
Yeah.
academic exam. Then you
Yeah.
switch back to your old English language test, that is IELTS,
Mm.
and you got
Yeah.
the required score at that moment. You got 7 and 7.5 in your
Yeah.
IELTS. Now, again, this year you contacted me that you're targeting 8 band score in IELTS. And I
Yeah.
told you that, Thivanka, why you are not trying to go for PT? Because getting 8 in PT is easier than IELTS. But you
Yeah.
told that you feel more comfortable, you feel more confident in terms of sitting for the IELTS exam, not PT. Though I have been teaching PT for the last 10 years, yes, I help students to get their band score in IELTS as well. But getting a score 8 that you can apply for your permanent residency in Australia, that can help you to get 20 permanent residency points, that's pretty challenging in terms of IELTS academic, but not like IELTS general. But still, it's little bit hard to get 8 band score in speaking and writing in IELTS. But you took that challenge and you told me that, okay, Hafiz, I can do it. I think so. Now tell me the whole journey, why you thought that Hafiz could help me in my speaking and writing in IELTS to get 8 band score.
So I thought like last year I managed to do this within like 1 week. So I was kind of confident, maybe a little bit overconfident that I can probably get it done, especially if I'm doing general. So I just thought that if I just try to improve a little bit more on what I'm doing right now, I think it will be better than redoing PTE over again. So that's why I mainly decided to go with IELTS. And like even like when I was writing the writing for the writing exam yesterday, like I wasn't concerned about the content. The only thing that was in my mind was what you said, structure and the examples. That was the only thing that was in my mind. So I did my best to do it the way you mentioned, to structure it properly and relevant examples and like that. So I guess it paid off.
Honestly speaking, that the way we did practice 6 classes for your speaking and writing, do you think the way we did practicing, the way you did the live practicing in front of me, I tried to show you what are the areas you have to improve, what are the common mistakes you are making. Do you think that it really worked for you? And is yes, and how?
Oh yes, it definitely worked for me because whenever like I provided an answer and you provided me with your version of it with the examples and stuff, I always took a screenshot of that and I later on I would go through it, and when I was writing the next answer, I would try to make it like that as much as possible.
That's great.
So
Now,
like
yeah, I do understand what you're trying to say, but to make it more elaborate, I'm trying to ask you that when we started practicing speaking, because I told you that the way you are speaking, that there are long pauses, there are some
yeah,
indication that you're thinking too much,
yeah,
you are thinking in such a way there is no words over there and there is no, because I told you that the way you are recording your audio, it might be different whenever in front of the examiner, because definitely can show your body movements
yeah,
and the way you are thinking, the way you are actually planning your answers, the way you are bringing ideas into your speaking task, What do you think the way we start practicing, how much it was relatable to your yesterday's exam, the way you got 8 in IELTS speaking?
It was definitely very relatable because every time I answered his questions, I always went by what you said, not to give long pauses and to use connecting sentences to take some time to think and but also not keep him too redundant. So like stuff like in my opinion and connecting sentences like that you mentioned to me to use. So those kind of stuff I took to minimize the long pauses.
Okay, that's great. Now, whenever you are trying to write essay, and I told you that you have lots of ideas, the way you are writing, absolutely those are brilliant. But sometimes those are not that much well structured, the way that can be connected in the body one, body two, even the way it can connect your introduction, your body one, body two, and conclusion. So the way you practice, the way I gave you feedback, the way I showed you that how to write that one live, what do you think? What you did in your studies exam, did you follow it fully, and how it actually greatly impacted your performance in yesterday's exam?
Yes, definitely. One thing that I was mainly going through was that I remembered what you told me. It's not about using complex sentences or words, but it can be basic, but as long as it's gives the idea to the reader, it's not just me reading it, it's someone else reading it. So as long as the idea comes through and if it's clear and structured, so that's what I basically followed. So as I mentioned, my question was about advantages and disadvantages of people moving away from their hometowns for better jobs. So first I gave the introduction, and then in the body one, I basically gave two advantages and examples for each. And basically, I just wrote basic sentence, not too many complex ones. And then in the second body two, it was like few more disadvantages. And finally, in the conclusion, I just straight away mentioned my opinion, saying I believe that disadvantages outweigh advantages. And like that, I kept it simple, but also made sure the idea came through.
Yeah, that's great. Now, because you got 9 in listening, because you told me that, Hafiz, I'm not that much concerned in listening and reading, because I know, because you practiced with me last year, I understood the way you were performing. So I told you that, okay, let's do it by yourself, but let's do the speaking and writing. Now, whenever you are going through different kind of, YouTube videos or different kind of tutorials, different kind of suggestions, recommendations, most common suggestions and recommendations people do in terms of IELTS writing and speaking is using, high frequency vocabularies, bringing so many complicated words and collocations like academic vocabs. Now, did you realize that those are truly makes sense all the time, or it is all about how better you are expressing the ideas, how better you are actually formulating the sentences, that is very much easy or comprehensible for the readers or even who are listeners? What is your understanding based on your studies exam and the way you got the score?
You mean like for writing or?
Writing and speaking, because many people think that,
Oh.
okay, if I use some high frequency words, if I bring some, lengthier words, very academic vocabularies, those are not that much common in our daily lives, then they actually start memorizing those things, but they don't know how to utilize those things. They just think, oh, it's a synonymous meaning, so I can use that one. So many people, what they do in speaking and writing, they don't make sense, but still they are bringing those kind of words. They think that, oh, it is suggested that if I bring that kind of high frequency words or lengthier collocations, appropriate prepositions, idioms, phrases, complete or words, then it will be helping them to get the best score, because the examiner will think that, oh no, he is actually using or she is using that kind of words. What's your personal opinion based on yesterday's exam, the way you cracked it and you got IELTS band score 8 in speaking and 8 in writing?
I think, sorry, I think it's not really necessary to use large words because actually, when I was writing the essay yesterday, I did use a few extra words maybe, but then I like proofread everything and I decided to cut down some stuff. so that it just gives the basic idea, not too much unnecessary vocabulary. But one thing I did is, as you said, I avoided repetition.
Yes.
So the one word that I came across when I was writing that essay many times was overpopulation.
Yeah.
So I made sure I didn't repeat that. So if I used overpopulation in one place, I would use overcrowding in the other.
Oh, that's great.
So like that, and I made sure it wasn't too complex either.
Okay.
So it
Yes,
was
I told
basic
you. Yes, I
sentences.
told you because sometimes whenever you are writing the same kind of expression in the introduction, you are bringing the same expression, even the words in your body one and body two and conclusion. So I told you that don't use the similar type of words multiple times. Rather try to bring some phrases, trying to make some other words so that it makes sense that you are just relating the same thing, but not actually using the same word multiple times. But I can see that day before yesterday when you are practicing and you send me through WhatsApp, I can see the progress because you just changed that one. Now, what do you think that when you were practicing day before yesterday, because your exam was on yesterday and you practiced day before yesterday for, I believe that the same thing actually happened last time that you gave your best
Yeah.
shot the day before your exam. So the way I was trying to give you the feedback based on your speaking and writing, do you think that it actually impacted your performance in a positive note in your yesterday's exam?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because when I was doing the whole writing and speaking, I wasn't worried about the context at all. Only thing that I was worried about was doing what you mentioned, structuring, not repeating the same word, giving examples, not using too much complex words, and making sure the reader understands. And same for speaking as well, making sure my what I say is clear, coherent, and not using too much complex words again. And yeah, that was basically what was going through my mind.
Oh,
And
that's great.
especially since I had already practiced with similar kinds of questions for writing and speaking, I wasn't worried about the context at all. It was only the way I wrote and spoke that I was worried about.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Now, my next question is that sometimes, whenever someone actually talking about some particular topic, for example, your daily routine, what are the most common things you do in your holidays? So we can so we are trying to do some out of the box. We are trying to bring some out of the box ideas. But I told you don't bring that out of the box ideas. Just do whatever you do actually. Make it very much simplified. What do you think that whenever you are speaking for that kind of questions regarding some particular questions that actually need your total
Yeah.
understanding about that particular text or about that particular topic or that particular context, what's your suggestions? Because you sat for the exam yesterday and you got the score today, so what's your suggestions that it is important to bring some out of the box ideas, or it is something that easy for them to express, or what is happening in their daily lives they should be stick to that kind of thinking and context?
So what I would suggest is give as many personal experiences as possible, something that's believable, and not lie too much. And if you're gonna lie, make sure it's believable and that you can focus, explain more about it.
Yeah.
For
So
example, like my speaking question was what is an adventure I would like to go on. So I didn't lie in that case, and I said straight away, I would like to go to New Zealand to watch the film sets where Lord of the Rings was
oh,
filmed, because that's what I want to go on an adventure as.
oh, that's
So yeah, as lie as little as possible, and if you're lying, make sure it's good and like whether you can expand more on it.
yes, but if you're lying, then you have to lie in a confident way. And
Exactly.
in terms of you
Yeah.
have to bring the data and some kind of context, because only lying things cannot actually help the examiner understand that what you're trying. They can easily
Yeah.
catch you. So yeah,
Correct.
you're true. You're true. You're right, because when you are trying to say something, you should have that sort of knowledge. Otherwise, it's not a good idea to
Yeah.
bring just kind of make sense that okay, I'm bringing some out of the
Mm.
box context, but I cannot explain. That doesn't make sense. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question is, Thivanka, like in Australia, everyone is fighting to get extra points for their permanent residency, because right now, the pathway is not that much easy to get
Yeah.
permanent residency. But uh, honestly speaking, whenever you got IELTS band score 8 for each skills. That means you can claim 20 permanent residency points. The same thing is happening
Yeah.
with PTE as well. Now nowadays, what do you think that people are too much busy with preparing for them for the PT examinations? Do you think that getting 8 in IELTS is not that much difficult or not that much challenging compared to the PT the way you practiced last year? What is your personal opinion?
In my personal opinion, I am more confident in IELTS than PTE, and I find it much more easier and straightforward than PTE. And I also have met a couple of friends as well, people as well. They've also tried PTE, then they also went with IELTS as well, and they found IELTS to be much easier than PTE and got the relevant band score as well. So I believe it's more of a personal thing whether you can do PTE or whether you can do IELTS or you can do both.
Yeah.
So it's one of
So I
them.
think
Yeah.
it's about your mindset, because whatever I understood, that your mindset is very much straightforward, that okay, I should stick to IELTS because you are pretty confident the way you were thinking about how you can sit for the IELTS examination. And last year you sat for the IELTS general and you got a score with a very short span of time preparation, and you got that sort of confidence that okay, you can just give a little bit more push, you might get the best score this time. But yes, I really appreciate that you made that, what happened that most of the people are actually going for PT academic preparation, but as you made the decisions that okay, no, I will stick to IELTS preparation, and you actually worked accordingly for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and definitely I can tell that you gave the best shot in terms of the improvement, because the day one where you were, because we started probably in the September 1 class we took, then I was sick, and then that was 2 weeks we delayed the whole thing. Then I can see that the where you were in the day one and where you were in the day six, that is our six last classes, you improved a lot. Definitely you are good, but the way you actually used to write, the way you used to practice speaking, you actually understood that what are the areas that you have to work on, what are the areas that you have to avoid those kind of mistakes, and you did it. Now, what I personally ask you that in terms of self evaluation, that whenever someone is practicing speaking or writing, even you have recorded your speaking, sent it to me on WhatsApp, you have written your essay and your task one on your writing sections and updated on the Google Doc. What is your own observations about your self evaluation, the way I gave you the feedback, and how you checked your one? Could you please tell me something that can help others to understand that what they should do whenever they will be checking their speaking and writing?
So when it comes to writing, obviously you marked my ones and gave me the feedback about mainly about the structure and the examples. So that was what mainly I took from your examples, how I should structure my writing and about giving examples and keeping it simple. And when it comes to speaking, uh, so so when it comes to speaking, one thing is that I say this. Um,
Self evaluation, or like the way you can
yeah.
check your performance.
So basically, I did the same thing that I did for writing. I just went based on what you mentioned, minimize long pauses as possible, not overcomplicating, not using this, not repeating the same words. So similar to that, make a list. If someone can make a list of the areas that they need to improve, and with every passing speaking test they do make sure you correct at least one of them,
Oh,
then cut
that's
it off from the list. I have made sure that this error is, I have corrected it, and so on. Like keep a list if possible and correct yourself. Yeah, that's basically what I could.
okay. That's fantastic, because your main suggestion is to make a checklist so that you can
Yeah,
understand that how you are improving, what are the mistakes you have made, and whether you have worked
yeah,
on it or not. Now,
yeah.
last questions about that. That whenever I told you a couple of times that Divanka, you have to avoid the long pauses. I told you that long pauses is indicating that you're thinking too much. Your brain is
Yeah.
producing some sort of ideas, and then you are delivering that one. So, what you actually did yesterday to avoid that long pauses? Could you please tell me?
So to avoid the long pauses, like you mentioned, what I did was I used a connecting sentence, like in my opinion, or I think, like that. I gave something to the invigilator so that I don't leave him bored too long, but I'm also thinking while I say that.
Oh,
So
that's
that gives
great.
me a little bit of time to leeway to think.
Yeah. So what you did, you actually use the transition phrases and
Yeah,
connectors so that
correct.
whenever you are thinking or generating ideas in between, you can use that so that it takes time. And you can also use your body movements, the way you can actually
Yeah,
show, the way you can actually answer the examiner's whatever the questions he asked you. That's great.
yeah.
That's great. I really appreciate that you got this score because you did the hard job. You took the challenge, and you most of the people are looking for you know 20 PR points through PT academic exam nowadays in Australia, but you chose IELTS general. That is fantastic because you thought you should achieve that one, because definitely you achieved that. Your exam was yesterday and you got the score today. Now, Thivanka, how was the overall journey, the way you worked with me? Do you think that if anyone works in such a way and they work accordingly the way you work, though it depends from person to person, but what is your own observation? What is your experience that you worked with me and the way it actually helped you, the way it motivated you, the way you actually made yourself corrected and rectified the mistakes you are making and you sat for the exam yesterday? What's your overall observations and experience?
So it was actually a good experience because when from the time we started doing the classes, you gave me questions and yeah, questions to do at home and to give you them so you can mark them and give me the feedback. So I believe that's the approach to be taken, to attempt as much as possible. Like they say, practice makes perfect, and the more you practice, the more errors you find that you have to rectify. So yeah, to anyone I can just say, keep on practicing and to get it marked by someone who knows how the point system works. So yeah, that's basically what I could say.
So what you are
And
trying to
like I
say
said
that
earlier,
to
to make
understand that what are the areas you are making mistakes and to
yeah,
know
correct.
that how you can improve more, because if you
Yeah,
know that what are the mistakes you are making, you can avoid it, you can rectify it, and if you know what are the areas you're doing good but you can do it better or best, you can definitely work on those areas and you can do the fantastic. Okay, that's great answer and
yeah.
really happy you got the score. For the last thing that I want to see, that could you please open your IELTS exam and you can show me your score, because I want to see from the
Yeah.
score itself.
One second. Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, I can see that listening 9, reading 8.5, writing 8, speaking 8. I'm happy you got 8.5 overall, and that's fantastic. I'll just request you that could you please send me the PDF so that I can archive it for my personal
Yeah,
file,
sure.
and it will be helpful for me. And I'll request you that in future, if you think that some of your friends or colleagues is looking for some sort of help for their PTE academic or PTE academic or IELTS academic or IELTS general, you can ask them to talk to me at least before investing their time and money. They can sit with me for a 15 to 20 minutes free lesson. If they're happy that okay, they can work with me, they can actually take my courses. But I really
Yeah.
appreciate Thivanka, because what you did, you can stop sharing your computer screen. You don't need to share that one. Because personally, I believe that the way you worked, the way you studied, if anyone is actually doing in that way, they should get their score. Because I'm a little bit, what I do, actually, I prefer students should choose PT Academic. Why? Because it's easier. Because you
It's
know why it
yeah.
is easier? Because I have seen many people who didn't get 6 band score in IELTS but got 79 earlier. But right now, PT has changed the scoring as well. It is a little bit of challenging right now because you have to get 88 out of 90 in speaking to claim 20 permanent residency points, and 85 out of 90 to claim 20 permanent residency in writing sections. But for listening and reading, it is not at all difficult. It is very much easier
Mm.
nowadays for PT Academic. But overall, I really enjoy working with you because I can tell you that you are such a good person, good student, and you always listen to what you should do and you just did accordingly. Many people, what they do, they try to be a smart. Definitely, you have to be a smart, but you should not be over smart. What they did, they actually found whatever the things they should do, but they don't apply that one. But you learn what to do, you try to apply those things, and you actually asked me to check that one, and I can see the progress from the day 1 to day 6, the way you are actually going through. I can tell you that it didn't happen overnight, because you have that kind of knowledge, you that kind of academic understanding, but the way you practiced, it really indicates that you are looking for your required band score within one attempt. Because I told you that, Thivanka, you have to get practice in such a way, you have to practice in such a way so that you can sit for the exam only one time and get your required score. Because this is the biggest motivation. It's not about money. It's all about time and motivation. Because earlier you can get the score, the earlier you can apply, and the faster you can apply. So it's really, really a happy moment for me. And I think you deserve it because you worked accordingly. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you a lot, Hafiz.
Okay. Any more questions?
I heard that PT is changing the way they mark the speaking, like whether they.
Not really, because remember that if we discuss in that way, any technology cannot be changed overnight. The fundamentals should be the same. Yes, you can use some sort of add-ons, you can tweak some of the areas, but you cannot change overnight. So what happened that Pearson found that people are using any templated sentences too much in their describe image in the written lecture. So apart, they are not saying whatever the question is asking, rather they are just bringing some unnecessary sentences, pre-made sentences. So what they actually introduced, they actually brought a technology that can detect the system that whether you are using kind of templated things or not, and then a human person can actually check that okay, the person is actually saying something based on his or her opinion, the way he or she understood, or it is totally a templated version. Number one change. Number two, Pearson brought two new questions. Earlier there are 5 type of speaking questions. Right now there are 7 type of speaking questions. So one question is called summarize group discussion. It is some sort, it's a 3 minute of communication between 3 students or 3 people in a campus life. And after
Oh, okay.
listening to that, you have to discuss whatever they are talking about. So based on the 3% what they discussed, you have to summarize. So you can call it a summarizing speaking task. And another is respond to situation. And what does it mean? You'll be given a situation and you have to respond accordingly. For example, you booked a library room for your friends for the group study, and when you went there, you saw that some of the people are already sitting over there. So what should be your response in terms, because already you booked your study session at 3 p.m. and you can see that some people are actually doing their homework or study over there. So it's called respond to a situation. These 2 type of questions added. But the problem is not about these 2 questions. The problem is the highest score is 90. Earlier 79 equivalent band score 8, that is 20
Okay.
PR points, but right now it is 88 in speaking. So that is the
Oh, okay.
challenging part. So they increased 9 points to claim that point, whatever it was 79 before 7th of August, but right now it is 88.
Okay.
So what happens sometimes, if you get 87, again you have to sit for the exam. So getting 79 out of 90 was not that much challenging, but really 88 it is challenging,
Yeah.
because that's the reason people are sometimes now sitting multiple times. But what actually people are making mistakes, that they are just trying to check their luck. If you get 82, you have to first understand what are the areas I can get extra points. But if you are thinking the same way that okay, it's my bad luck, go for the second time, without changing kind of what kind of mistakes you made, without rectifying, if you go for the second attempt, third attempt, fourth, and the score will be the same.
Mm.
So it is all about the mindset. I have many students who got 90 out of 90 for the last 2 months as well, in speaking as well. It is not about any rocket science. It's not about that very easy or it's very hard. It's all about you have to understand based on the 7 type of questions, what are the mistakes you are making and how you can overcome those things. If you prove it with the mock test, if you prove it with the manual performances, and someone actually tell you that, oh yes, you're going on the right track, I can tell that getting 88 out of 90 is not that much difficult at all, but people are not taking it seriously. Rather, they're thinking the way they thought earlier, going for the exam, let's see what happens. Not like that.
Mhm.
You got my point?
Yeah.
Okay. No worries, Thivanka. I really wish you all the best. Hope to see you one day and we will have a cup of coffee together. But in
Sure.
between, just solve your permanent residency applications. Try to get the permanent residency as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Get a good
Trying to.
jobs whenever you'll be getting permanent resident, and everything will be fine. And that's all.
Yeah. Thank you, Hafiz.
All the best.